additional activities that are going on.
Well, Senator McCain is back, and I think you had some questions for the panel, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for allowing me to ask a couple of questions. Admiral Lautenbacher, you're the guy that said we had to sleep for 20 or 30 years before we'd know anything about climate change. According to the General Accounting Office, Admiral, a report of April 14, 2005, have you seen it concerning climate change assessment? Administration did not meet reporting deadline?
I've seen a few articles. I don't remember the one about the reporting deadline. I've seen a few recent articles on our on the administration's reports.
So you don't really pay much attention to General Government Accountability Office reports that have direct, that you're the lead organization responsibility for it? I suggest you do, Admiral. So since you haven't taken the time to read a Government Accountability Office report that directly affects you, let me give you a couple of quotes. Global Change Research Act of 1990 required the administration to, among other things, prepare a national global change research plan, a summary of the achievements and expenditures in the area of federal climate change research. The scientific assessment is to be prepared at least every 4 years. And it goes on as to what the report, I'm sure you, I better read it to you because
I have read that one, sir. I didn't know what you were referring to.
Okay.
I have read that report. I understand.
All right. Basically, they say you're not complying with the law.
Yes, sir.
Are you complying with the law?
I believe that we are complying with the law, yes, sir. We have answered...
So, well, you're complying with the law. Did you submit a scientific assessment on November 2004, 4 years after the previous assessment as required by the Act?
We have been working on the pieces of it, and we believe...
Did you submit a scientific assessment on November 2004, 4 years after the previous assessment as required by the Act?
No, sir,
yes or no?
We did not.
You did not. But you're in compliance with the law. You know, you are really one of the more astonishing witnesses that I have, and in the 19 years I've been a member of this committee, Admiral, because clearly you're in violation of the law when you didn't submit on November a scientific assessment 4 years after the previous assessment as required by the Act. I'd be glad to send you the language of the Act, nor have you shown any inclination to do so. Reports are now expected to be completed up to a year later than planned. September 2006. The remaining 12 reports are currently expected to be completed by September 2007. Have any response to that, Admiral? Probably not.
Yes, sir. We've discussed it with your staff. We've discussed it with many members. We're trying to look at the best way to do this. It took 10 years to submit the first report. The limit was set at 4 years. This is a difficult requirement to meet on time, and I think we'll come in closer to it than the first report came in.
Did you ever notify this committee that you would not be able to meet the requirements of the Act?
I think we have. I'll go back and look at it. We certainly have discussions with staff
Admiral,
members.
and if I was notifying the Committee of Oversight, I might remember whether I did or not.
We did talk with staff members about our ability
Did you
to do
notify
that,
this committee that you were not going to be in compliance with the Act?
I will go back and look at the memorandums that
we have no record of it, Admiral. Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't mean to drag this out, but the General Government Accountability Office says the Congress and other users will not know when or where aid areas will be addressed, according to the law. So we have an agency of government here, responsibility for the oversight of an issue that many people, including Prime Minister Blair, think is the single most, who is now visiting our president, single most important issue affecting the world, climate change. And this witness in this agency doesn't care enough to even notify the Committee of Oversight that they are unable to meet the statutory requirements of law. So I have no choice, Admiral, but to try to act legislatively to try and see that you do obey the law. That's, you know, it's kind of a fundamental around here. And and I don't know exactly what those courses of action will be, but believe me, we will explore every one. And I again want to express my deep disappointment at your complete lack of concern about future generations of Americans who are affected by climate change, which overwhelming scientific evidence has now, let me just, because I'm sure you probably didn't read it, The National Academy of Sciences, along with the national academies of 10 other nations, issued a joint statement on the global response to climate change. The scientific understanding of climate change is now sufficiently clear to justify nations taking prompt action. It's vital that all nations identify cost-effective steps that they can take now to contribute to substantial and long-term reduction in net global greenhouse gas emissions. And all we're asking from you is a report, and we can't even get that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator McCain, and I want to thank all the panelists. Great information today, and we'll be following up. And some of the things that were mentioned that you're going to keep us in the loop on, I'd greatly appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.